This is what it looks like when we download it. We have the small option, we have the 3-section option, which is what I'll be showing in this video, the 2-section option, a large option, a medium, an extra large, and an extra extra large. But again, for this purpose, we're going to be going with the 3 sections that you can see here. So I'm going to click on in, and we have a bot, mid, and top. So I'm going to go to the bot first, which is the bottom, and I'm just going to kind of show you a quick view. So we have these 3 different sections that we are going to be using for this map for the bottom layer. And the same goes for the middle layer. We have the 1, 2, and 3 different middle layer options. And then for the top layer, we have these 3 options for the top. The files will import similar to this. I don't have any of these set up yet really in Lightburn, so you're going to have to do that yourself with your own settings. And I'm just going to kind of show you a visual here of these different layers and how they work. So these ones, as you can see right here where they're kind of clustered versus these ones, I do recommend nesting some of the designs if possible, just so you can get the most use out of your sheet. Do keep in mind, though, that depending on your paints and stains, it could prove difficult, especially if you are working with a lighter color. Now, let me explain that in a little bit of detail here. See the V in Nevada? That's what happens sometimes if you stain with a light color after you engrave and cut. If you use a lighter color and you stain afterwards, sometimes it gets into the engrave and it doesn't look nice. But I tried to nest as much as I could. This project did take me about 8 sheets of the 10 by 20 from Home Depot. I always use the 532 maple, but it is a beautiful project. It is a work of art. It is a wall piece, so do keep that in mind. So we have these are the second layers that I'm kind of just pulling over here for a visual reference. So we have the one on the left, which is the bottom. Then we have these ones over here. And I'm just going to drag these over. So these would be what would be on the top that I would nest within the different designs that I can use the most for the sheet. Here I am just going to be scoring and then engraving. I do have to do it in sections because my Lightburn is a little bit glitched. So I do suggest, if you have issues like I do, to send them in separate sections. I sent them layer by layer and it seemed to nullify the glitches. Now we have our bottom layers. As you can see, we have a middle, a left, and a right. The cool thing about these is they just are going to snap into place. We also have these top layers, which will be stained a different color. These are all going to be different colors. I will show you how I do that in just a few. But these are going to be going over the different sections, the left, the middle, and the right. Because I have a lot of different stains from a lot of different companies, I have these little chips that I made up so I can see what color combinations I like best for this map. If you are interested in these templates, they will be available for free in the Homestyle Customs community. I will include a link with that. First thing is first, though, let's get these put together before we can start staining. The cool part about these is they just snap into place just like this. And yeah, they fit together really nicely, especially with this Home Depot wood. They pop right in. And if you have an issue with them popping in, you can flip it over like I'm going to do here. And then I'm just going to use a rubber mallet to make sure all these little tabs go into place precisely. And once we do that, we can flip it on back over. And there we go. We have our bottom layer. Moving on to color, I am going to use one of these alcohol pens that I have because I felt it was the stain color closest to the look that I was going for based on the chips that I made earlier. So I'm just going to go in and fill it in and voila, there we go. So you also might notice that some of the colors might look a little bit different if they're not dry, and you also might notice that different sheets of wood, especially for these assembly projects, might give you a different look. For the second layer chip, as we can see right here, I'm going to be using the paint pen that I have for this. This is by Rust-Oleum. It is an oak color. Another option is you can use a stain just like this. Again, I do recommend making your own little swatches and seeing what colors go best for what kind of look you're going for. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the first layer, use my paint pen and color all of the different states. And this is a visual of what it looks like when the second layer is placed on top of the first. I'm not going to bother using the stains for the states that I'm going to just be gluing over each other. And the cool thing is these just pop right into place. You can feel them and hear them snap, just like this. And once you have it like that, it's pretty much one piece that's good to go. For this particular map, I am going to be using some glue I have from Hobby Lobby, just because I have it open. You can use Star Bond. I really recommend Star Bond Medium. And with these types of glues, I just add like little dots around the area and the outline in the center, and then I just pop it into place, and I have these small little clamps that I'm going to use that I've gotten from Harbor Freight and the Dollar Tree store. And I'm just going to kind of clamp it into place to get it to kind of just get the glue to adhere. Another option is you can add some weight. I've used some heavy cutting boards. So yeah, you can use different things just to make sure that it adheres nicely and correctly. Another option, if you don't want to deal with glue, would be to use a 3M roll or 3M tape, just like this. And you would have to use that first. You'd have to put it on the sheet of wood, and then you'd go through, engrave it, and cut it, and all that. So it's been a little while. I have my bottom and my middle layer clamped down, and now I'm going to move over to the top layers, which are singular states that, again, I'm going to just be gluing and following the same exact process. If you have any issues like this where you may have some stray stragglers or pieces of wood that's sticking out, just use a little bit of sandpaper, sand it down. Don't worry about your edges or your underside if it's a little wonky looking, because you're going to glue it and nobody's going to know. And there we go. We pretty much have this map ready to go. It's looking good. I will probably add some weight overnight just to make sure that it's going to adhere correctly. I have a couple of heavy marble cutting boards that I use, and I am going to make sure that these smaller pieces like Alaska and Hawaii are also clamped, so they're also getting adhered correctly. And here we go with the finished piece. It looks amazing. This file is from Homestyle Customs. It's part of a bundle with a few different options for maps, so make sure to check them out. I will include a link with this video, along with a link to the group, so if you'd like to get some of the freebies like the chips I show, you can get those too.